Everyone here is feeling the magic of the season,
including JTV Tiger. Hey buddy, thanks for dressing up for us.
This week, our project is a beautiful centerpiece that has aromatic Christmas greens and natural winterberry. It makes a spectacular Christmas centerpiece. And all those birds, that adds that whimsical, spirited Christmas feeling to our design.
So let's get started. But first, I don't want to get any pine sap on my Santa suit, so we'll use a little bit of Christmas magic to get me out of it. There. That's better. So we'll get started with our little project today with our special cardinals. First of all, I want to show you these guys all lined up in the box. Those are the birds that we're going to use to help create today's project. We're also going to make it in a wonderful red container like this. Adds a little bit more color for this colorful arrangement. Christmas is an important time, and we want to make sure that we have that red and green colorful look to this arrangement. Also, we're going to be adding some fresh evergreen as well, so we have a great smell that goes along with this. First things first, we have to get our base inside here. So I'm going to use a piece of artesia. And we've float soaked it. We're going to use our foam knife to bevel the edges. So that it fits down in our container very well. Now, you'll notice that this doesn't go all the way to the bottom. That's going to give us extra room so that we can have plenty of water inside our container to make sure our flowers and our greenery stays fresh. And of course, our greenery is the next thing. Now I've got several different kinds of pine. This is princess pine. Some people call it sugar pine. We also have a little bit of juniper. That's the stuff that they make gin out of. Then we've got some cedar, incense cedar, with all those incredible berries on there. They're going to give us a little bit more texture. And finally, a little bit of silver fir. They call it silver because on this side it's dark green, but it has a nice silver quality on the back side. A mixture of greens is always really important because it gives it a little bit more of a natural look. So we'll use our knife. And I always trim the greenery from the back side because it gives me a better idea of what those pieces are going to look like. And it allows me to get them all together. Rather than going in from this side and just trimming out a little portion, then I've kind of got a wasted portion there. So if we just trim them this way, we're going to have all usable pieces. So we'll start by peeling back a little bit of that greenery. And I just use my fingers to pull those needles away. If I've pulled those away, then they're going to go into the foam so much easier. So I always pull them off with my fingers too, rather than cutting them with my knife. Pine sap would get all over my knife, and that could be a real problem for me. We're creating a one-sided arrangement, and our branches are going to come up in this area. So we're leaving the front open so that we have an area for our focal point. Now we're going to add some of this wonderful, tall sugar pine. Now that's enough greenery for right now because we want to add our berry branches, which are going to give us the position to put our birds in. That's what's going to give this a little bit more of a whimsical feel. We're going to use some winterberry. Winterberry is a native of Michigan. Grows outside, and it has these beautiful red berries on it. So we're going to take a couple pieces of those and put them on either side of our arrangement. One of our JTV episodes, we talked about using a design knife.
These sticks are a little bit hard, so if you don't feel real comfortable with that, you can always use a nippers like this when you're cutting hardwood stems. So that might be something easier that would help you clip off these pieces. It's okay to use this on woody stems. I would never use this on a rose or a fresh flower though. But if you're comfortable with your design knife, that's a great thing to use. Because we want this to be more natural, we're going to use some of these pieces off to the side. So we've created kind of a structure here. Our birds, though, are going to be sitting on sticks. So we're going to place these two pieces directly across the center of our design. We put one berry branch towards that side, so I'll put one berry branch on this side as well. We want to find a natural crook in the stem itself that can support the corner of this branch. And we're going to tie them in using barked wire from Knud-Nielsen. I love this product because it's very natural and it is a wire, but it looks like it has bark on the outside. So this will allow me to tie these into place and not have something that shows up. It's going to look almost decorative, like this is a honeysuckle vine or something like that growing through there that's keeping the twigs together. And we'll attach both sides on both ends. I've used plenty of it, and see, I can just bring that out towards the end here and have it kind of curl around like a natural vine or tendril. And we'll use two more pieces. We just wrap it around and just curl those ends so it looks very natural. And this one will tie into this branch right down here. You're going to knock some of the berries off as you're tying these together, and that's okay. Just make sure that they don't stick in your carpet or fall on the floor and you mash them in. Pick everything up when you're done. Now, we can come back and add the rest of our greenery. Use a little bit of the incense cedar, and we've draped it towards the front a little bit more. That adds a little bit of interest. And also you'll notice that I'm grouping it together so that we're not covering up all the other evergreen that we use so that we can see each and every individual kind. And we can add a taller piece up in here. Now again, your placement of your evergreen is kind of spontaneous, and that makes it look like it's very natural outside, like the stems of the winterberry fell over and kind of formed this armature naturally. So you want to keep those things in mind as you're creating this. You don't want it to be too determined and exactly a specific way. Each one can be different. That's the fun part. You'll notice when you're working with these pines that it's so aromatic and the smell is just incredible. That's from the sap that's coming from the inside of this. It's going to be the portion that still remains inside here and makes it smell so great for the holidays. I've saved a couple of the pieces of silver to fill in a little bit here. And now just a little bit of the juniper. Notice how that blue coloration really sparks up everything we're doing. We're going to add some extra berries to this too. just to give a little differentiation. Makes it a little bit more spontaneous, makes it a little more natural. These are permanent berries, so they can go in year after year. Or you might have a year you can't get winterberry, and this would be a great way to add red berries to this arrangement. So we have red berries. Then we're going to use a few pine cones. Now these are great. They come from the Knud Nielsen Company. They've already been drilled on the back and they've placed a Koei wood pick in the back side. So at that point, it's all ready for me to use. I don't have to worry about wiring them or doing anything. It's an easy way for me to use this product because all I do is I just get to stick it in. The wood pick, when it gets wet too, swells up a little bit so it holds in place really well. Right now, we have a very organic arrangement because we have the pine, we have the winterberry, we have the pine cones. So we need to add a little bit of our ribbon and a little bit of our millimeter balls as an ornament to give kind of a shiny texture, a little bit more metallic, and make it a little bit more festive. So we'll start with ribbon. And we're going to cut off several lengths. So we use our ribbon. Now, here's a problem. I've got all that wonderful aromatic sap on my hands and on my tools, and it makes it hard for me to work with it because everything sticks to it. It can get on my clothes too. So here's the JTV trick of the week. Poke-on leaf shine takes off that sticky sap. It will also take off adhesives too. So we simply grab it and spray it on our hands and rub that poke-on leaf shine in. What that does is break down the sap or the adhesives and allow us to just wipe it away. So we rub it in real good and grab a couple paper towels. There we go. And look at no problems now. So those are the kind of tricks you're going to see every week here at JTV. So we'll add our ribbon using our trusty chopstick. Push that ribbon right down into the artesia foam. We can also tuck it into certain areas too. So that we have something that looks like a bow but starts to become a portion of our design. We're using it as an element and principle of design rather than as a bow that's a giant focal area. So one more time, we're just using the chopstick and pushing that down into the foam. Depends upon what type of ribbon you have. Since this is a sheer ribbon, I'm using the fatter end. If I'm using one that's a satin ribbon, I might use the pointier end. With a sheer ribbon like this, if I use the pointy end, I might stick it right through the ribbon itself. And we'll add one more kind of ribbon so that we've got 3 different kinds in here. That adds to the spontaneous look of the arrangement and also makes it look a little bit more fun. Because we also have wired ribbon, I can shape these so that they fall exactly where I want them to fall. And now, a few ornaments. And we're going to tuck those in kind of where our ribbon goes together. I think 3 of those will be great. So now, this is what we have. and it's time for us to add the fun to this arrangement. So we're going to add our little birds. Now, each one of these little mushroom birds is different from the next one. They have different forms, different shapes, and we're going to add those onto our two pieces that we laid across the center of the arrangement. We're going to do that with our low temp glue gun. So we'll apply a nice little glob of glue. It's a nice technical term, but a nice glob of glue on there and place that directly on the stem. We want to make sure that he looks like he's actually perching on the stem. Wouldn't be good if they were on like this or hanging upside down, although that could be fun too. But in this case, we'll just keep adding these guys. And notice how I turn one another direction. We've got one here that is kind of turned to the side. We're going to put him on backwards. There's always one of those. When you look at the wire and you see all the birds up there, remember Tippi Hedren from the Birds? All those birds lined up across the wire? There's always one that was turned around backwards. That's the contrary one. That's the one that's kind of like me. So we keep adding our little birds to our design. So we're using a low temp glue gun so that when we place our birds in place, it affixes them really quickly and it dries really fast. If they should fall off and move, you can pick them up and re-glue them in another spot. It's okay, it's all fun. And we'll add one last one right on top of our Christmas ornament down front so that they all came in and landed right in our Christmas centerpiece. So, to make this arrangement my own, I want to add JTV Sparkle. So we're going to use Design Master Red Spray Glitter. This gives all these little cardinals a twinkle in their eye for Christmas. And finally, our final step, always at JTV, is to use Crowning Glory. You also might worry about the glitter and wonder if the Crowning Glory will wash it away. The Crowning Glory actually helps hold glitter on. The great thing about JTV is we're always here to share ideas. I had a viewer the other day give me some feedback through an email and told me that she uses Crowning Glory to adhere glitter to flowers and also on poinsettia plants. So it works great that way too. I love the fact that we're able to share all those ideas here at JTV. So, our wonderful, aromatic, natural Christmas centerpiece is ready for the table. So, what did we learn today? We learned that you can be as creative as you want to with your holiday expressions from the ideas that you learn here at JTV. You can use birds or butterflies. You can add sparkle if you want to. It's all up to you to use your creative energy to use the ideas you learn here at JTV. We love to share the magic of the season with you here at JTV, and we love to share ideas too. I want you to tell everyone you know about JTV so we can have as many people as possible sharing that magic together here every week.